Howdy, folks. This is just a reminder that if you like this content, you can help me out by liking, commenting, and especially by subscribing. And be sure to hit the bell notification so you always get notified whenever I have a new video. Hope you enjoy this.
Elizabeth is in Indianapolis, Indiana, listening on YouTube. Elizabeth, welcome. Go ahead with your question for Jimmy.
Hello. Thank you, Cy. Hello, Jimmy. My question is, I'm disabled and live alone, and I don't have transportation, so I haven't been to Mass in a very long time. So I'm clearly not in a state of grace. Are my prayers, like when I pray the chaplet for souls and when I pray the rosary for people, are my prayers valid if I'm not in a state of grace? I know that seems silly, but I'm not going to stop praying, but I'm wondering, are they valid?
Okay. Well, as we covered last episode, valid and invalid are not really categories that apply to prayers. God hears everybody because God is omniscient. So he knows everyone's requests. And Cy Kellett, you may recall an incident where Jesus went to the Sea of Galilee and crossed it into the territory of the Gadarenes.
Yes, I do.
And he encountered a couple of guys who were possessed by demons, and the demons made a request of Jesus. Do you remember what their request was?
Please just don't send us where we don't want to go. Can we go into those pigs over there?
Yeah.
Paraphrasing.
Paraphrasing, but what did Jesus say? You can paraphrase that too.
Yeah, go into the pigs.
Yeah, so all a prayer request is a request. And so here we find Jesus answering the prayers of demons, and they are most definitely not in a state of grace. So there is value in terms of God does reward. He wants people to do good. And so he wants people to be in a state of grace. And so he may answer your prayers even more if you're in a state of grace. But it is not a requirement that you be in a state of grace in order to be able to pray to God and get a valid get a response that's positive. In fact, a lot of people, when they're not in a state of grace, one of the best things they can do is pray that God will help them enter a state of grace. And so being in a state of grace is just not a requirement for God either knowing about your prayer request or God granted your prayer request. He can and does do both. Now, he may answer your prayers positively even more if you're in a state of grace, but it's not like he stops his ears and goes, la, 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 I'm not listening to you and I'm not going to grant your request. He just does not do that. Then there is a more fundamental matter, though, Elizabeth, that I want to attend to, which is you said that you're disabled and you don't have transport, and so you haven't been to Mass in a considerable amount of time, and you said, therefore, you're not in a state of grace. But that doesn't follow. Merely not being able to get to Mass doesn't put you out of a state of grace. The church understands that there are situations where people are not able to go to Mass, and if you're genuinely not able, then God understands that, and you're not required to go, and it's not a sin to miss Mass in those situations. So it wouldn't take you out of a state of grace just because you've missed Mass, even for a lengthy period of time. Now, I would say it would be a good thing to explore, and I don't know what your mobility situation is, but I would say it would be a good thing to call your parish and see if there might be a volunteer who could help you get to Mass on a more regular basis. But merely the fact that you haven't been able to go because of your disability and lack of transportation, that doesn't mean you're not in a state of grace. So, so I wouldn't be too hard on myself in that regard. You may well be in a state of grace. Even if you're not, though, you can always arrange for a priest to come to you and hear your confession, and that'll put you back in a state of grace. If you're not in one, well, a priest can come to your home and hear your confession and return you to a state of grace there. They could either say Mass at your home or bring you Holy Communion. In fact, they regularly have people who do Many of them are, some of them are priests or deacons, but others are what are known as extraordinary ministers of Holy Communion, who take Holy Communion to people who are not able to attend Mass, either because of illness or they're in the hospital or they're disabled or things like that. So I would say, it would be a good thing if you're not able to make it to Mass to, watch Mass online or on TV. But it would be even better if you can make contact with your parish and find out, is there someone who could bring you to Mass if you have the mobility and it's mainly a transportation issue. And even then, you can live a valid sacramental life, even if you're not able to leave your home, by having a priest to come to your home and hear your confession, or having a minister of communion bring you communion. And so there are a bunch of options here, and I want to be encouraging to you.
Well, thank you. I did have a priest come and hear my confession a couple of months ago. It was very comforting to have that done.
Awesome, indeed, as it should be.
And before we go, just one more reminder that if you like what you've watched, you can help me out by liking, commenting, and especially by subscribing. I'm trying to grow my channel, and I'd really appreciate your help. Thank you, and God bless you.